that autumn wind. Shout out to the Raiders, man, we about to win.
First question rolling in here. It's a super chat from Lumpy Shart. What a freaking name that is. Any super chat, you know what? Cheers to the nation. Gruden is not going to pick up a quarterback who doesn't know the system, tired of receivers dropping balls and being tommed by the rest. Yeah, F the refs, always good. But I agree. I don't think that the Raiders are going to go out and draft a quarterback. I've said it multiple times. I'm going to keep Derek Carr. I think Derek's the reason. I think Derek is not our biggest issue. Our biggest issue right now is defense. We can all agree on that. Let's go to Juicehead89. Juicehead's been watching for hella long. Juice, I was in the comments. I was looking at you. Are we bringing back Karl Joseph next season? Very, very good question. So this is what I want you to do, Juicehead. I've already made a video on this. I want you to type in Karl Joseph 2020 Raiders Report on YouTube. I made a long video on the chances of Karl Joseph being a Raider next year. Can you do that for me? But I'm going to give it to Chucky Heads if that helps you out at all. Another super chat. Oh, what up, Jay Raider? When a quarterback comes out and says he do what the coach wants and where he want me to go with the ball, all is below average, good and great quarterback run the plays and make the plays, Carr plays like a robot. Great quarterbacks do, I think, have the ability to make their own play calls. Derek Carr is an average quarterback. And it kind of sucks to say it, but it's the truth. Right now, the NFL is absolutely spoiled with unbelievable quarterback play, especially when you got to watch a guy like Patrick Mahomes, when you got to watch a player like Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. I see your comments. I know what kind of quarterback you want. Derek's an average quarterback, but he is not the biggest problem with this team. If we go out and draft a quarterback, if we go out and trade for a quarterback, if we go out and sign a quarterback in next year, I think we actually take a step back. We need to go to Vegas. We need to keep taking steps forward. We won 4 games last year. I think we're going to win 7 this year. Got to keep taking steps forward. Got another question rolling in now from Cam's Life. What's your realistic top 2 draft picks for the Raiders? Realistic, I think we got to go defense and we got to go wide receiver. The player that I want more than any player is Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. We know that the Raiders love Clemson players. He can play linebacker. He can play safety. He can literally do it all. My biggest fear with him is he's going to go a lot higher than what the Raiders have. And then you got to go wide receiver. You got to look at CeeDee Lamb, Jeudy. I mean, those are 2 players that I've been wanting for a long time. Henry Ruggs. I think if the Raiders don't get one of those top 3 players, I think it's a big, big fail. Speaking of Clemson players, got a super chat from Stumbling Upward. I'll tell you what. Your boy was stumbling upward this past game. Y'all fed me way too many drinks. The amount of beers I shotgunned, the amount of shots I took, not proud of it. But cheers to the nation. Bring back Jacoby Ford. If you want Jacoby Ford, I want you to type JF in the comments section. I've had a few people ask me about Ford. Now, I get it. I'm more of a BMW kind of guy. But Jacoby Ford to me is a player that brings a ton of speed. He's a player that's also going to bring some special teams ability. We were hurt this year by Trevor Davis. We were hurt this year by not having Dwayne Harris. If y'all want Jacoby Ford, I want you to type some JFs in the comments section, because the one thing that I do know that the Raiders need, if there is also one thing that I know Mike Mayock wanted this offseason, it's speed. Jacoby Ford, he's got the speed. And BetDSI, they got the hookup. Go to BetDSI, get started with them today, chatsports.com/bet. If you want to bet on Raiders games, if you want to bet on NFL games, I asked y'all about Lakers, you want to bet on NBA games, do it at BetDSI. It's the internet's #1 sports book. I'm telling y'all right now, you put down $50, you get $60 for free. And right now is the best time to get started with BetDSI. Why is that? BetDSI, man, they're hooking up people who get started here at Chat Sports. They just put $25 extra in my bank account. Just put $25 extra in my bank account for getting started with them. You can see the link below in the chat. Click it. Get started today. Use that promo code Raiders120. Dude, one of my most loyal watchers. Corrupt, my man. Cheers to you. Raiders, hire Ron Rivera as DC. How many Chucky head? I'm going to give it, in terms of how much do I want Ron Rivera, it's 4 Chucky heads, believe it, baby. But in terms of going out and getting Ron Rivera, it's probably only 1. And the reason why I say that is because if NFL teams are smart, Ron Rivera, I think, is going to get hired as a head coach. But Riverboat Ron in Las Vegas coaching our defense. And if there's one thing that Ron can do, it's coach young players because he's the players coach. I'm telling you right now, I would love Ron Rivera because Paul Gunther, he got to go. FTR, am I late? Is this live or live loop? Glad you survived the heartbreak. FTR Raider 1200. Man, this is live. We are live, and we go live every Tuesday. Every Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific Time. So I want you to turn on those notifications. Subscribe to the Raiders Report so you know exactly when I go live. You can see it. It's in the chat below. Click that link, and if you click the link below, man, you got it. You can subscribe, and then you get your questions featured on the show. So, yes, we are live, and to prove it to you, cheers to you. Also, got some rando calling me on my cell phone if you don't believe me. From Louisville, Texas. Where the hell's that? Next comment. Zach Hewitt. Got a few questions. Did you boo Derek? No. Did you throw trash on the field? Absolutely not. Did you get in a fight? No. And what did you see some fans do after the game? I'll get a pick. I saw a lot of people crying. Saw a lot of people drinking away their sorrows. I also saw the inside of a toilet bowl for about 10 minutes during halftime. Those are the things that I saw. I'll be honest with you. So did you guys boo Derek Carr? Type 1 for yes and type 4 for no. I'm not the biggest fan of booing. I'll be honest, as my dad would say, it sounds very millennial of you. My dad's all about booing and getting his money's worth. I'm not the biggest fan of booing. But I also understand how much those tickets cost. I also understand that I spent my entire weekend. And I also understand that we deserve more as a fan base. We 100% do. So did you boo Derek Carr? Type 1 for yes and type 4 for no. I'll give some shout outs to some people here. Money Craig says 1. Clapton Crip says 4. Compagorda says 4. Right now, the stats and research team here at Chat Sports, which I promise you I have not a part of, we're getting about 80% 4s right now, which is good to me. I'm glad that we didn't boo, because even if, can we just be real? It wasn't just Derek Carr. The Raiders did not play well as a team. They really did not. No, but I did yell at him. Well, guess what? It's America. You can do whatever you want. 1 for yes, type 4 for no. Did you boo Derek Carr? What a name. You almost got me. I'm going to say it anyway. Duck my ash. Do you think they address the defense more in free agency and rather than offense? I think there is one position that the Raiders need to address. Actually, that's not true. If they're going to address any position on offense right now, it's the wide receiver position in free agency, which don't be surprised if they go out and look for some wide receivers. The one wide receiver I want them to go out and get is a player like Robbie Anderson. I've seen rumors about A.J. Green. That's not going to happen. Emmanuel Sanders is a player that I like. Tajay Sharp is an interesting player to me. But the Raiders need to focus their attention on defense. Defense. I mean, you might not like for me to say it, but the 49ers offense is really not that good. Can we all agree that Josh Jacobs is a much better running back than Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert? The reason why the 49ers are winning games is because they built through the draft. They built an amazing defense. When you build an amazing defense, then you can lean on your strength. The Raiders' strength right now is Josh Jacobs in that offensive line. Go out and get linebackers, safeties, cornerbacks, build the defense, give me some Ds. That sounds bad. Shout out your city right now. I want you guys to shout out your city. I know the nation spreads far and wide, and that's one thing that I love about you. Man, I met people from Ohio this past weekend. I met people from Pennsylvania. I met people from California, Missouri, Germany even. Shout out to the Germany watchers. And the one thing that I always love about the nation is that it's family, and I want you to shout out your city right now, okay? Shout out your city. And the reason also why I'm asking, I'm heading home for the holidays. I'm heading home, and if you live near Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, if you live anywhere near Bloomsburg, or if you're willing to drive near Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, I want you to DM me on Instagram. I'm trying to get as many Raider fans in this area together, okay? Trying to get as many Raider fans as I possibly can together. I want to get some beers. I want to get some food. I want to have a good time. And I want to meet people who watch my show when I go home. So if you live near Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, DM me on Instagram at MitchellRenz365. Let's go now to the next super chat from Mr. Vagoat. Teddy or Cam, Who do you want? Also, F Derek Carr. Now, I appreciate the super chat, so hang on. All right, how about this? Answer his question. I want you to type T for Teddy Bridgewater, or I want you to type C for Cam Newton. Who would you rather have as quarterback of the Oakland Raiders? Here on the Raiders Report, we listen to you. I see what you're saying, and I put it on the show. This show is all about growing the nation, and it's why I tell people to subscribe. The more subscribers we get, the louder our voice gets. So if you want a shout out, I want you to weigh in on this super chat from Mr. Vagoat. So I'm seeing some J. Adam says T. Dalton Montoya says Cam Newton. Real Raider Chap says Cam. Rigo Fleetes says T. Would you rather have Cam Newton or Teddy Bridgewater as the quarterback of the Oakland Raiders? We're throwing it in the comments section. Somebody said Mr. Vagoat. Hey, bring him on. DC, if you'd rather have Derek Carr, type DC. Because if you could ask me if I'd rather have Teddy or Cam or Derek Carr, I would tell you to stay tuned because we have an episode coming up here around Derek Carr potential replacements because I asked you guys what you wanted on the show, and guess what? I'm going to put what you guys want. If you're wondering how to super chat, you can click that money symbol down below, get your questions on the show. If you're wondering, wait a minute, why can't I get my comments on the show? Because maybe you're watching this on loop. Subscribe to the Oakland Raiders Report, youtube.com/Raiders Report. We are the #1 show for the Raider Nation, and we appreciate everyone who's watching us right now as my boss coughs. I know, James. Eldon, what up, man? Who will be the replacements for Paul Guenther? Well, Eldon, I can promise you one thing. We'll be breaking down some replacements for Paul Guenther. I've already put out 3 Raiders coaches, assistant coaches that are on the hot seat, and I've already put it out on the Raiders channel. The one coach that I want coaching this defense. The one coach that I think can totally fix this defense. So, who will be the replacement for Paul Guenther? If you guys have any options for me, I've seen a lot of Riverboat Rons. I've seen a lot of Jack Del Rios. Mr. Vagoat says, I want Riverboat Ron. Okay. Somebody said F Cam. Getting some DCs. So if you guys have any that you want, throw it in the comment section. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.